Hey there, guys, what's going on? So, the cycle of rebooting and renewal continues here at the Vinyl Corner, where we press on into the wacky and wild world of musical reviewing. Okay, maybe it's not that exciting, but as the entertainer to your musical presentation, my naturally charismatic and unnatural enthusiasm likes to make you think so. Anyways, we drag our winter wearied and mentally drained bodies into the first teasing glimpses of what I can only presume will soon be spring before it's quickly snatched away again anyway. It's time to talk about music that is at least a somewhat fitting representation of seasons change. Obviously, because it is something new, but also because there should be at least some tiny hope that we're going to have a spring and warmth again, and optimism and joy, and I think I took that a little too far. The point being, we're doing something new here today. Not only in the sense of a new album and something that's yet to come out at this point, but a band and their style of sound that is, for the most part, very unknown to me. But thanks to the hype machine that is the internet and its music, as well as this helpful bit of equipment up here, I decided this was something I needed to tackle as soon as I was able to get around to doing it. Today, we feature the war on drugs. No, not the aged and tired propaganda machine that shows you fried eggs as a brain equivalent, but rather the Adam Granduciel-fronted, formerly Kurt Vial included band, with their latest spread of material called Lost in the Dream. It's received some of the greatest early press of any album in the beginning stages here of 2014, and in this review we shall see just how that feeling stacks up. Let's get to it. On the surface, it's immediately easy to see the parallels between the overlapping styles of the War on Drugs frontman Adam Granduciel and his friend and former collaborator within the band Kurt Vial, who has equally come into his own most recently with release Wakin' on a Pretty Daze. Sounds are allowed to roam around the scenery with plenty of slack and room to blossom outwards. There are quite a few inclinations towards wavering, dancing, psychedelic tapestries present, and there's just a sense of overarching ease within the tempo. But while Vial leans heavily towards a Neil Young-inflected, slightly Laurel Canyon-inspired slacker rock blend, Granduciel and the War on Drugs seem to be much more inspired towards a kind of love note to the 1980s, if you will, with Lost in the Dream. Buried within layers of sound currents that fall like new snow, or a touch of Mark Knopfler's Dire Straits here, a bit of classic Tom Petty's Heartbreakers there, some Bruce Springsteen dancing through the dark, and tones that bring to mind some of Bob Dylan's less nasally pronouncements. Though that's not even remotely to say that Lost in the Dream is little more than just some sort of piecemeal patchwork cloth of all its influences. Rather, it uses this patchwork as a means to push the overall sound of this record forward, driven by glittery and glistening guitar and drum fills one moment, as with the song Disappearing, or buoyed by the synth-pop daytime riding joy of Red Eyes in the next. It gets downright Americana in the mellower moments, with the more enriched Dylan when Dylan was in the Traveling Wilburys sound of Eyes to the Wind, and like some kind of unholy hybrid of Springsteen mixed with a more pop-oriented, organically minded Radiohead with the song In Reverse. So for all its compositions of sound, its realm of influences, and its ambient, haunting gasp into the stratosphere, as with instrumental piece The Haunting Idol, there's a lot more that meets the eye with Lost in the Dream. Beneath its ease and loose grasp of the surroundings is a tighter and less comfortable perspective of the world than it initially lets on. Granduciel himself has admitted that the record was written during a time of great personal unease, and beneath the moments of exultation and uplift in the music is that very sensation of something just a few tints darker than that. It only goes to show that the mix and match of sonic exploration on this record isn't really the only depth that's present, just as long as you let yourself fade down into the grandeur of the depths you find beneath. Other than just a few tracks, it's most certainly not immediately accessible, but Lost in the Dream has hook enough throughout to keep growing and growing upon each listen. It's definitely one of the most intriguing new albums of the year so far, and I have to say I highly recommend giving it a look. My favorites from this one are the aforementioned Eyes to the Wind, Disappearing, and In Reverse, as well as the sonic chemtrail-laced vibes of Under the Pressure, and the transfer of The Haunting Idol into the, well, I should just sing this at the top of my lungs with the car windows down bounce of Burning. I wasn't exactly sure what to initially expect when I heard about the upcoming press and anticipation for this record, but As I said there just prior, this album, Lost in the Dream, is a grower and really does reward persistence. Not always easy in an instant gratification and digital music world and society, but if you're in for the experience, you certainly won't be disappointed. I give The War on Drugs and their record, Lost in the Dream, a 9 out of 10. But that's it for me, my latest review here of The War on Drugs and their soon-to-be-released March 18th album, Lost in the Dream. I hope you enjoyed this bit of coverage and listening to the record, certainly as much as I did, and I hope you'll be tuning in here soon for very, very much more in the same vein. But until next time, guys, I thank you all very, very much for watching and tuning in here. There should be one more video to go along with this for the rest of the week. We break for the weekend, and then we come back next week with some new things, maybe some more pre-release stuff, and maybe some old revived stuff to put up as well. We'll see what the new week brings, all that stuff. Thank you very much for tuning in, and until next time, we're taking the world by storm here in 2014. Thank you all very much for watching.